Hey guys, if you've never watched one of my videos, if this is the first time watching one of my auto chess videos, you have to watch this one. And I will put a timestamp in the first pinned comment for you to skip to a certain point in the video. The late game in this video is insane. This is without a doubt the strongest hunter composition at level 10 I have ever built. You'll notice that in a lot of videos, I do not go to level 10 because I never really get the chance. This video, I got the chance, and this was one of the craziest and most ridiculous late games I have ever had. And this composition is absolutely bonkers. 3 hunters, 3 high DPS hunters, Wind Ranger, Excoundrel Ranger, Dwarf Sniper, 4 Warlocks, so you got the 4 Warlock bonus, 2 Beasts, Werewolf and Poisonous Worm, Excoundrel, 3 warriors, and then you have the utility of Pirate Captain, the utility of Dark Spirit. You've got the God of War as your front line. Now, the change that you could make is to add a Siren over Wind Ranger. I did not because I didn't get any Magicka crystals in the early game. So I needed a Wind Ranger in there, but the Wind Ranger actually provided me with a lot of damage as well. This is without a doubt the most ridiculously strong late game composition I have ever built. Now, before we jump into the video, if you want a Switch, this is the last day that you can get for the giveaway in September. I know that we're going into October, but I did miss some videos in September, so this is just making up for it before I do the draw. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell. We might not have a giveaway next month. I might take a break just in the lead up to Christmas and stuff like that. I might do one in December again, but next month we might not have a giveaway. But if you want to get involved with the Switch giveaway, today's your last day. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment, and you could win a Switch. Now, I'm going to do my usual thing, speed up the early game, and then kind of just talk through my decisions. The other part of this video is going to be about the secret of the Frantic Mask and the Dwarf Sniper. Now, I don't know if you saw in game and on social media, they gave out like this little announcement that said, "What's the secret of the Dwarf Sniper and the Frantic Mask?" Oh, we'll tell you in the next episode of Dragon Ball Frantic Mask. Anyway, I'm pretty certain all they're going to say is that use Frantic Mask on Dwarf Sniper because it actually makes him really good. And they're right. Actually putting Frantic Mask on Dwarf Sniper makes him really good. You might think, but Excoundrel, he's got an ability. You don't want to silence him. That ability becomes less and less relevant as the game goes on. In general, any flat damage abilities that are mainly single target focused generally become less relevant, especially if it's something like magic damage, which it is with Dwarf Sniper. It just becomes a little bit less relevant and doesn't really make as much of a difference as the game goes on. So there's that. Also, like, he's just a really strong backline carry. So the extra attack speed is really good for him because he doesn't have to move in the fight. So actually, just Frantic Mask in general was a really, really good item. He actually wasn't too bad last night, was he? So I want to talk a little bit about the decision making that I took in the early game. You'll notice that I picked up the pair of mechs. Yeah. I also picked up Phantom Queen. Now, Phantom Queen is actually a very, very, very good single unit in the early game. Her magic damage is quite high, and she's AoE magic damage. So you'll notice that she actually does a lot of hard work in carrying the rounds as this game goes on. I also picked up an Evil Knight because even at level 1, he's actually just quite a good tank. Evil Knight is a pretty solid tank at level 1, so it's good to just have him on the board. And I'm actually generating a pretty solid win streak so far with what I've got. You'll notice that I'm picking up the unicorns. The reason I'm doing that is, of course, I want to sell them later on. I've also just got a generic selection of things on the bench. I've got 2 Gods of War, I've got a Desperate Doctor, and I've got a Soulbreaker. Now, actually, the funny thing about this game is I would usually tell you not to force a build, but the funny thing about this particular game was I was actually trying to force a hunter build because I wanted this video to be about the secret of the Dwarf Sniper and the Frantic Mask because everybody's kind of talking about it on social media. But yeah, so I just basically... I decided that I would try and force a hunter build this game. That's why I picked up the God of Wars. Not actually because I wanted to go for a god build, but more so because I wanted to force a hunter build with God of War as my frontline. If any of you don't know, God of War is actually the best frontliner for hunters. God of War is the best frontliner for most things, so if you can get a God of War 3 for a hunter build, he just buys you so much time for the hunters to just put out a ridiculous amount of DPS. Right now, I'm just trying to keep myself above 10 gold. I lost that round to the guy who's got, like, the full Glacier at round 8, which, by the way, is ridiculous with a level 2 Hell Knight as well. I mean, that guy's probably not losing, until about round 20. So I can already tell that he's going to high roll this lobby, and I'm going to be struggling now from this point forward. So I'm just buying a random assortment of stuff, keeping myself above gold thresholds, but buying stuff that maybe I can put on the field to try and stem the bleeding. There isn't really any point me committing one way or the other to a particular build at this point, or rather to a particular strategy at this point in time, you know, like lost streaking or whatever. The reason being is that I don't have a clear direction, and also I could win or lose at any moment. So I'm basically middling right now. And middling basically means you either win or you lose, and you don't really build up a streak in either direction. What I would have done here is actually, I did do it. I sell off the swordsman. The swordsman is getting a bit late into the game to actually have swordsman as an input here, so that's why I've decided to get rid of him. Unfortunately, I thought that I was going to be safe to take on this, take on these rock golems, but apparently I was not safe to do so. Now, I picked up the Dwarf Sniper for the pure reason that I wanted to force a hunter build this game. I was prepared to move away from a hunter build if it meant that I just couldn't find the pieces for it, but I wasn't in a situation where I had to kind of worry about that right now. So I was just very happy to kind of sit back and just say, okay, cool. I also really wanted that God of War, as you can see. Like, it was enough for me to sell the Ripper. I was like, well, maybe I'll get a 2-star Skybreaker. The Ripper's not really doing anything for me right now. And actually, because I was on the lose streak, I was like, well, actually, we can commit to the lose streak. We can commit to the lose streak, and we can build our economy that way. Because to be honest with you, just by getting that 10 gold threshold early on, I'm now at like 40, 50 gold by round 12. That's about the same as if I'd lost streaked from the very beginning. So we actually have put ourselves in a pretty solid position. Basically what we did is we made sure we freed up our bench, so we didn't buy too much because there wasn't really anything worth buying, in my opinion. And we also just made sure that we committed to the loss streak after we sort of spiraled into one. We had a minor win streak, and then we sort of spiraled back into a loss streak. But yeah, as you can see, like, we've got the very beginnings of a good front line. I'm also keeping the pirate captain around, obviously, because he fits into the hunter composition that I wanted to go. The only thing that I was struggling with this game was the fact that actually I was going up against people who had hunters, which was the issue that I was facing. I was going up against people that had hunters in their builds, and I was therefore competing with people for hunters. But right now, all I'm going to be doing, like, I kind of just ramble in the early game, guys. You probably know me by now. But basically, all I'm doing right now is building economy. All of my excess gold I'm putting into levels, because I want to sort of get to level 8 as quickly as possible, or at least get to a point where I'm a high enough level to go against the grain of the... a high enough level to go against the majority of the competition, you know, without having to, like, spam level. I want to be able to be in a comfortable position so that if I have 50 gold, I can use that to actually, I can use that 50 gold to roll instead of leveling. So if I level now and get to a good level after the wolf round, like, we can use excess gold to roll for hunters that are obviously being competed for. So you can see here, I'm just going to put a little bit of gold into leveling, and then I'm actually going to start to roll. And the reason I rolled here is because I actually was concerned that I wasn't going to beat the wolf round. So my concern in this particular scenario was I am actually in a situation where I might not beat the wolf round. One of the problems that I made in this particular scenario was that I added the human bonus to my gods, and I didn't even realize that was the problem here. So I was like, yeah, no worries. Then suddenly we're not beating the wolf round, and suddenly we're losing to the wolf round, and we only killed 2 of them, which is actually really bad because obviously, like, hunters are pretty itemization dependent. So right now I'm just like, okay, well, I've lost streak to the wolf round. I lost in the wolf round. I have a very minimal amount of HP left. I probably need to think about trying to win, or probably need to think about trying to get some rolls and get my hunters online sometime soon. So I need to find, like, the other hunters in this composition and then start sort of rolling for them. I don't know. I'm at 36 HP, I just lost my loss streak. I'm not in, like, the worst situation in the world. Like, we're not in a situation where we're really struggling. And actually, something that helped here is that I actually found the level 2 werewolf and the level 2 pirate captain, and that helped out a darn lot. I picked up another pirate captain. I don't know why. I don't really ever see reason to try and go for 3-star 4 costs. But alas, I see the Agessis Ranger. I'm like, oh, wait a second, that's the Agessis Ranger. But I also do find I also now find the what's his dude? I find the dude. I find the Wind Ranger, which is obviously really good. And then I sort of sell things back off to get to 50 gold. So I sell the excess stuff that I didn't really need, and I can actually start giving away some of my items. I'm giving the Vampiric Mask over to Dwarf Sniper because I want to unlock the secret of the Frantic Mask and the Dwarf Sniper, which, you know, you can tell I'm taking that really seriously. But I actually end up doing really well here because I find like a load of core pieces for my build. So I find, you know, I've got a 2-star Pirate Captain already. I'm on the verge of having a 3-star God of War. I've now picked up the Aegirsis bonus. I just need to find a Venomancer, and that's my level 8 composition completely sorted. So we're actually in a really strong spot overall right now. As you can see, like the power of my composition, just even by adding Hunters, has been massively increased. And that's kind of what Hunters do. Hunters are just really strong, especially if you've just got a good, powerful front line. Hunters are always going to be a great unit to add to any kind of front strong line, which is why having like a really beefy warrior front line works really well with Hunters. So, like strategy-wise right now, what I'm doing is I'm keeping myself above 50 gold. I've invested enough to hit level 8 at 21. Then what I can do is I can start to roll a little bit. I'm in a situation now where I want to roll for my 3 stars. I want to start getting 2-star Wind Rangers. I want to start getting my Venomancer, which you can just see I found there. So that means I sell off the Doom. There's no point really hanging around for me at this point in time. Like I might as well just roll for as many major upgrades as I can get, because like I'm on the verge, like one more God of War and I've got a God of War 3 if I want to use the egg. I need one more Dwarf Sniper, one more Aegirsis Ranger, one more Soul Reaper, even just one more Venomancer, which is pretty huge. You can see here, this is why I'm just rolling now. I'm finding all these cool things. Now, I'm not actually going to use the egg on the God of War. The reason being is that I want, if I'm going to roll, don't ever use the egg until you've absolutely, you know, finished rolling, essentially. My advice about using egg is that use it if it's like a major upgrade like a dragon and you need to get a Dragon Knight 2, for instance. But if you're going to roll, always make sure you finish rolling before you decide to use your egg. Because if you roll one more time and you actually find the piece that you need, then there was no point you using your egg, realistically, you know? If you find the piece that you need, there was literally no point you using your egg. And actually, I've now got like my composition is like 100% online here. You know, and I didn't use the egg because I didn't feel like I needed to. Like I was comfortable enough. I'm not going to die on the next round. Comfortable enough to just say, hey, okay, right, we can chill. We've got pretty much everything that we need to be 2-star. The only thing that I'd actually be able to use my egg on here is the Soul Reaper, and he really isn't that important to egg. Comparatively, I would rather save my egg for Dwarf Sniper, and if I find 2 more Dwarf Snipers, I've got a 3-star Dwarf, sorry, yeah, it would have to be 3 more Dwarf Snipers. If I found 3 more Dwarf Snipers, I've got a 3-star Dwarf Sniper because I've got the egg there, and that is worth using the egg upgrade on. Even if I have to roll afterwards, I might as well use the egg upgrade on that because it's just such a powerful upgrade for my composition as a whole. So what I'm doing now is, instead of rolling, I am actually going to start saving my economy. Now, the reason I'm doing that is, A, I want to go through the neutral round and build an economy with the win streak. I don't actually have the win streak anymore because I drew, right? But I want to go through the neutral round and build an economy for free because I know that I'm beating the neutral round. 2, I actually don't have anything major worth upgrading and rolling for right now. The major thing that I have to work with is just finding another Soul Reaper. Other than that, it's getting a 3-star Dwarf Sniper and getting a 3-star Aegirsis Ranger, but I'm actually really not going to benefit too much from rolling right now, which is why I'm not rolling. I'm going to let myself naturally find the Soul Reaper, and if I find it, hey, that's brilliant. I've got a Soul Reaper, and I've now got a 2-star Soul Reaper, but I do not need to roll for it, neither do I need to use the egg on it. There is no point. What I'm actually going to do is try and build up an economy to 50 and slow level to 9, because I know that I am incredibly strong. Like, I know that I'm going to beat almost everyone on the field right now. So I know that I have no rush in trying to spam my economy down. This is all about relative strength. I get rewarded, by the way, and I find the Soul Reaper naturally. But this is all about assessing relative strength, right? I know that I drew with the guy who high rolled the Glacier Clan at level 8 and has now only just lost his 100% win streak. I knew that I drew with him, right? So I know that in most scenarios, maybe pending good or bad Night Shield RNG, I'm going to beat those people on a regular basis, right? So I'm very happy to just say, okay, let's chill. We don't need to rush this. The I did lose to the feathered guy though, but I don't think in most scenarios I'm going to lose to the feathered guy. I'm now just concerned going to level 9, and what I can bring on at level 9 is a beast. I can bring on beast because I've got the werewolf, and what that is going to do is going to allow me to have a massive damage increase, especially for a very stacked dwarf sniper, for instance. So that's the theory behind going for the beast upgrade. I put the parts of a refresher orb on my pirate captain. Now the reason I did that is because he's probably the best unit to have a refresher orb on in this scenario. I also finally unlocked the Frantic Mask on my Dwarf Sniper. The legend of the Dwarf Sniper. I finally unlocked Frantic Mask on him. Once he's level 3, you'll see, but his damage output is going to be insane. You'll notice that I also gave the Lifesteal Magic Resist item to my Soul Reaper. The reason being is he's right in the middle of my corner comp, so he's going to give everybody on my team Lifesteal, which is going to make them much more powerful. And now we've got to the point where I kind of want to slow it down, but I'm not going to slow it down to a little bit later on, just because I found an Orb of Refresh, found another Frantic Mask. I give the Frantic Mask, I give to my Dwarf Sniper, of course, as well as having the damage there, and I go to level 9 and bring on another Dwarf Sniper for the time being. We are looking for a 3-star Dwarf Sniper. We are looking for a beast to bring on when I have that 3-star Dwarf Sniper opened up. But you can see, like, there's a lot of major upgrades that I've just found here. I even found a Wraith Shard for my Dwarf Sniper, by the way. And there we go, find the 3-star Dwarf Sniper. And now it's about finding another beast. Now, I should have put on Poisonous Worm here. That would have been the better idea. You can see I'm rolling down. I'm just looking for a 3-star upgrade on my Guesses Ranger, and I actually find a Dark Spirit. Now, part of me wants to put this Dark Spirit on right away, but I kind of like having the beast bonus around. So my idea now is to go to level 10 and then go for 4 Warlocks and 2 Beasts by finding another Poisonous Worm. Now, I should have put the Poisonous Worm on immediately when I found it, but I thought, nah, Poisonous Worm's not that good, maybe a Lord of Sand would be better. So I actually had the thought of having Poisonous Worm on after I had the thought of finding the Dark Spirit, because obviously if I didn't find Dark Spirit, then it didn't matter, right? See how much time you see how much time the God of War bought me there? Even though I actually lost this round, the God of War bought me so much time in this particular scenario. I'm actually going to start to slow down now. This is where I'm going to slow the video down, so give me 1 second. So I moved this over to 1.25 times now. So I'm not quite 1 time speed, because that felt a bit slow even when I was going through decisions, but I put it to 1.25 times, which means you're going to see it about 25% quicker than it was. Now, what I'm trying to do, you notice that I'm moving between the 2 corners. The reason being is I don't want him to have a diagonal entry point to my composition. The reason I don't want him to have a diagonal entry point to my composition is because he is much more likely to be able to kill my God of War if he's attacking it from side on, which is why I want my God of War to be directly in front of his damage. I don't want my God of War to turn away from the major source of his damage, so I need my God of War to be directly in front of his entire composition, which is what I'm doing here. If I was to let him attack me from the opposite corner, my God of War would get twisted and turned around, and I would be in a situation where I might not actually be able to like survive, because my God of War is going to die. So that's why you see me doing this. That's why I'm trying to match him head on with my God of War. So watch my God of War here. He jumps directly in, and his Lightblade Knight and his Berserker are attacking the front of my God of War, which means they just aren't doing any damage to the rest of my comp. I mean, Lightblade Knight is obviously because of her bounces, but my God of War is surviving. Now, unluckily, I did not manage to get a I obviously got a very bad Night Shield RNG on his board, so he actually beat me, but I did manage to come out on top on my board just about. I'm actually winning by a very small margin here, which is a pretty big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until after I'm not going to wait until after this run. Don't know why I didn't wait. Like, I'm going to beat the Black Dragon King anyway, but I really should have waited. And you see that I find the Dark Spirit here. So I'm going to bring the Dark Spirit on. Now what I need to find is a Poisonous Worm, and that would give me the 4 Warlock bonus, as well as having the Beasts. So this is basically where I'm at now. I have the Dark Spirit. Dark Spirit at level 1 is amazing. Dark Spirit at level 2 will probably get me the win by himself. Just for those of you that don't know, Dark Spirit is very good against Knights. Now, the reason Dark Spirit is very good against Knights is because his damage is true damage. What that means is that his damage will deal damage to opponents no matter how much armor and magic resist they have. So the armor and magic resist that the Knights get on the shield, the Dark Spirit's damage is percentage max health, and it goes through that shield pretty easily. So what he's done here is he's actually split his comp up into two sides. This is a very effective strategy versus a Dark Spirit composition. The problem with the way that he's done this, however, is he's put two of his most important units on the same side. Those important units being the Lightblade Knight and the Hell Knight. They both went onto the same side, unfortunately, which means they both died in one Dark Spirit ultimate. If he'd put them on separate sides, he might have been in a better scenario. So what I found here now is obviously a 2-star Dark Spirit, which is going to give me major win conditions versus this Knight player. What I'm going to do very quickly is I want my God of War to take the frontline damage from his Hell Knight and his Lightblade Knight. So I need my God of War to kind of be in front of those units. He actually switcherooed me and put everybody into a corner directly in front of my Dark Spirit, which is obviously my bad, and then my Dark Spirit also got hexed, which meant that was just I just wasn't able to get the Dark Spirit ultimate off. But very luckily, my God of War did the work for me. On his screen, he did not get the hex off, and my Dark Spirit did indeed get the ultimate off. So I'm probably going to win without the addition of Poisonous Worm, but adding a Poisonous Worm just makes my composition feel that much more fun. So that's why I wanted to go for it. He's actually gone to level 10 here, as you can see. So I'm really hoping that he beats me on his screen. I actually kind of want him to beat me on his screen so that I can actually get my full composition unlocked. Because I want to show you how hard this composition won when I did have what's it called? The 4 Warlock bonus in it. It just made me like nigh on unkillable. The problem that he's got here is that actually he's gone to level 10 and he's just put everything into a corner again. I'm lucky that he actually ended up beating me on his screen, but he put everything into a corner versus a 2-star Dark Spirit, which is just not a good way to play the game. So we get pretty lucky here. We find Poisonous Worm, which obviously we sell and put Poisonous Worm on. And they actually, on the roll just before I ran out of money, I found a 3-star Agursis Ranger. So here we go. We've got 2 humans, 3 hunters, 4 warlocks, 3 warriors, the dwarf, a divinity bonus that is blocked, Agursis, and 2 beast. Like, this is just an insane late game comp, and I kind of want to show you how this goes down for the final battle here. Just there's the Dark Spirit ultimate, right on the back line, double stuns that he doesn't get anything to do. Like, I haven't even lost a unit here, by the way. And on his screen, neither have I lost a unit. We absolutely crushed him. Actually, we did lose some units there, but we absolutely crushed him. And that was just such an incredibly good game. Like, and he had so many items as well. This was just such a ridiculously good late game comp. Really, really happy with how that played out. And actually really happy with the way that we added to it as well. That was awesome. That was such a good composition to play. Really, really was good.